If you're just joining, ever wonder how top performing women keep their energy up in the midst of chaos or look good and seem to have it all together no matter what is going on? Today, I'm going to share the essential self care habits that keep many successful women at the top of their game without burning out. If we haven't met yet, I'm Dr. Geneva, leadership expert, and I teach people about leadership and personal well being so you can create great impact and be well while you're doing it. You know, after decades of leading multi-million dollar organizations, forming over 50 diverse public private partnerships and raising over $100 million. I can tell you, as a leader, as an executive, self care habits need to be a part of your leadership toolkit. Now, I want you to think of self care more than a personal to do list. And that's how I'm going to talk about it. More than that, it really is your secret weapon for your business success. As leaders, as folk who run businesses or head of nonprofit organizations or lead teams, when we champion self care within our teams or with our staff, or our employees, we're not just looking out for people, but we're really making some smart business moves. Why? Well, because people who practice self care are more energized, creative, and committed. And so self care isn't just good for morale, it directly cuts down on the stuff that keeps us up at night. And from things like burnout, sick days, and turnover. So, in embracing self care, we're not just taking care of our teams or our employees and ourselves. We're really doing those things that can help boost our bottom line and position our organization for success. So, you see, everyone benefits. And so today, as we're talking about habits, now a habit is something that's a regular practice that you do automatically, often without conscious thought, like brushing your teeth or drinking coffee or tea in the morning. And so that's what we're going to talk about, those things that I want you to get into the habit of doing on a regular basis without thought. And if you're doing some of these things already, that's great. Pick up something new or make sure that the habit that you've got going on, that you uptick it, that you do it even more. And so I'm going to share those essential self care habits that I practice and many other successful women do too, to stay on it and beat exhaustion and overwhelm. And so that's what I want you to do. Get out your paper and pen, make notes, leave comments. And if you have questions, put them in the chat, and afterwards I will get to them. And good morning to you. Good day to you as well. And welcome from South Africa. I'm so delighted that you're here. So let's get started. The first habit that I want you to make sure you have in your leadership toolkit is to schedule everything. Your personal commitments, your meetings, your work projects, your personal time, all of it. I want you to schedule it. I want you to put it on your phone, in your calendar, so that you have it. And one of the things that this does is let you have a real clear picture and overview of what your commitments and responsibilities are. And if you know If you see that and you know what's ahead in terms of your time, this can help ease the mental stress that we often go through in terms of what do I have to do now or what's next. You have it there all scheduled out, and it makes it easier to focus and be present. And, by including your personal commitments in your calendar, it really, by scheduling it, it really positions those self-care activities as non-negotiables because you've scheduled it. Now, you know how we are. We make sure that if we got meetings, that they're scheduled, right? But I'm suggesting to you, I want you to schedule both those business commitments and the personal self care and personal commitments. Put it all down on your calendar so that you know that what you're doing is important because you scheduled it. Does that make sense? If so, put a yes in the chat. Scheduling everything like this is really a good training ground for discipline. And that's an important leadership trait that we need to have. But what scheduling everything does, because you see everything, it helps you manage your time and get you in the habit of managing your time wisely, sticking to your commitments. And also, it helps resist that procrastination because you put it down, it's there, you're looking at it, you got to deal with it. It's saying to you, come on, deal with it. And it helps you maintain focus. And really, by controlling your schedule, you're taking charge of how your energy and time are spent. And this gives you the power to shape your day. And really, by shaping your day, you really are shaping your personal life and your career. So, schedule everything. The second habit that I want you to make sure that you're doing, that you have, is to give yourself permission to rest. Now, this is an important one because oftentimes rest is seen as the opposite of productivity. And this is a misconception and something that I want y'all to get out of the habit of doing. Because when you see rest as something different or opposite of productivity, when you do rest, it's going to make you feel guilty. You know how it is. You feel guilty or you're reluctant to take those needed breaks. So, what it's important to do as a leader, as running teams, as heading organizations, it's important for you to reframe rest as a productivity tool, not in opposition to being productive or taking care of business. Want you to reframe it. Now, we all know that rest rejuvenates our mind, our body, and that can help us with clarity and those decisions we need to make and our own creativity. So it's important to rest. And by seeing rest, by viewing it as a productivity tool and something that can boost performance, rather than detract from it. Okay, so I want to say that again. Looking at rest as something that can boost your performance rather than detract from it. Now, this is a big shift we need to make sure that we make. And that's why this habit that talks about giving yourself permission to rest is so critical, because when you give yourself that permission and you can embrace rest without guilt, then that can help you recognize how important um, resting plays in what it is that you do in terms of your success. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up if it does. Regular intentional breaks really allow us as leaders, as those of us running businesses and leading teams, it allows us to recharge. And every time we recharge, we reduce the risk of us becoming burned out, which everyone wants to do. We want to avoid, beat burnout. And so when we prioritize rest, we can also, and this is something that is so important for us as leaders to always remember, that when we prioritize rest, when we show that we're taking care of ourselves, that we're giving permission to rest, it sets an example for those we work with, our teams, our staff, our employees. And so it promotes this culture that says it's okay to rest. You can recharge, give yourself permission to do this, and we value your mental health and your well-being. And so by encouraging others to take the rest they need, we normalize rest. So it's a normal thing to do, you know. And so permission to rest is a self-care habit I want to leave to you. And as you are going about your self-care rituals, I would love to hear what's your best self-care habit. You can leave that in the chat. The third self-care habit that's got to be in your leadership toolkit, and as someone who's guiding and setting, as a role model for employees and staff, have the best home environment that you can create. And, if we're well organized at home, it really acts as a sanctuary from all the demands that we get. I know I spent a lot of time um, reorganizing and having my space just perfect when I open the door. I am near the river, the Detroit River. And when I open my front door and look ahead, I can see the river from my bay windows. And it is just so wonderful. So, what I wanted to do was to take advantage of that. So, I set up the space that, leads my eye to the window with, plants and artwork and things, so that it enhances the space. So, looking up and seeing water is great. But now I have a whole corridor. And just by simple things, plants and things that I love, putting them in the space so that when I open the door, I'm home to my sanctuary. And for us as leaders, making sure that we have a place that's good, that's serene, if that's what we want, that has the decor that makes us feel good and relaxed. And oftentimes we don't think about how our home environment plays into self-care, but it does. Does that make sense? That, how our home is, how our home environment is what we come to. That, in fact, having it as a physical environment that supports our mental and emotional being matters. Does that make sense? Let me know. Put a yes in the comments if it does. And tell me if your home environment is a sanctuary for you. And what's also something cool to do is to have specific areas in your house or spaces that are strictly for relaxation or for the family to gather, or whatever it is that can help maintain that balance, because your home environment, can significantly influence your daily habits and the lifestyle choices you make. So structuring that environment is so important. And you can do it also to promote healthy behaviors. You might have a designated area for working out. and making sure you get on that bike and do some workout. Or you might, in your kitchen, you might want to stock it full of nutritious food and things that will encourage healthy eating, because you know the family congregates there, or you spend a lot of time there. Or you might want to have that special place where you go and you just put your feet up and sit back and relax. Whatever it is, having your best home environment is a habit that can really uptick your self-care, your emotional and mental well-being. So I want you to do that. And so we've covered these three habits. And before I go to the next one, I want to remind you that if you resonate with any of this, that please go to Elevate Next Level Success. Hey, and join my community. Let's continue. Okay. Incorporate music everywhere. This is one of my favorites. Now, I don't know how you all feel about music, but I be loving it, loving to hear that music. And, music has such a profound ability to influence our emotions and really can be a powerful tool for us learning how to and managing stress on a regular basis and enhancing our mood, and finding those genres that you like and playing it. One of the first things that my family and I did when we moved was to make sure that we had various music stations and places to play music. And you can do so much today with Alexa and all of these uh, assistance that you can get, because you can pipe the music through it and say, Alexa, play this. Or you can be in your car and listen to Sirius and just have your favorite music stations on. The thing is, what I want you to do is be intentional about incorporating music, whatever genre you love, into your everyday. And music can also influence your environment and the atmosphere and create a positive and energized environment, as well as make you want to feel like you want to dance and feel good. And create those playlists or share those playlists with family members, or bring it to work. We, in one of the organizations that I ran, we piped in music into the office. So there was always some music playing. It was wonderful. It was simple to do. We got someone to come in, and electrician, and they put together an intercom system for us. And then we streamed music, and we would agree on what the favorite genres were for different members of the team. But every day, and then someone was responsible every day for coming in, turning on the music, of course, and then turning it off. But all during the day, we had music streaming. Even when we had meetings and lots of people coming in and out of our office environment, we would adjust the volume, but it would always be there and be that kind of relaxing environment. And then in people's individual offices, they could control the volume. Think about it. Having that music, really can, in your office or with your employees, with your team, really can foster a sense of well being again and community. I'd love to know what you think about that one, incorporating music. The next habit I want to make sure that's in your leadership toolkit and that you incorporate in what it is you're doing is physical development. Now, I know you're going to say, well, Dr. Geneva, we knew that exercise was going to be on the list. You're right about that. Regular physical activity is a must to help beat that stress, if nothing else. If you're a leader and you're managing other folk and coming into contact with other people and facing high demands at work and at home, you got to take care of your body. You've got to put your body and your mind through that physical activity that can enhance your endurance and help also improve your mental clarity and focus. And, for leaders, again, this is invaluable and can really help you with the pressures. I'm going to tell you, I don't know where. Now, I didn't start out. I'm gonna tell you, I did not start out as a young girl with exercising all the time. I didn't do that. I had to gradually move into it till it became a habit. And that's what we're talking about. Taking them steps, and doing a little bit every day, getting a little better, increasing it by 1%, getting a little better until you're in the groove and it becomes a habit that you're doing it without really conscious thought. Okay. When I started exercising, I really just did it to get out the house because it was the only place that I could get up in the morning and get out where somebody wasn't calling my name. Mom, Geneva, wifey, somebody wasn't calling my name at that gym. So that's how I started. It started it out just to get out the house. But as I did a little bit every day, every other day, couple times a week, I started feeling good. But more than the feeling good, I recognized that this was helping me deal with that stress. And those things that keep you up at night as a leader. Now it didn't completely eliminate it, but I found that more and more I was able to sleep and get my rest. And then after a while, it became a habit. And even today, I'm, up first thing in the morning. That's part of my routine. I work out, whether it's strength training, whether it's aerobics. I like walking. I do some boxing every now and then. Yes, yes. Whatever it is, that physical development as a leader is essential. You just got to do that. This boost in energy when you're working out directly is related to, increasing your productivity and the ability to maintain a high performance during the day. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Put a yes in the comments if it makes sense to you. Now, not that you doing it 100% that you where you want to be, but I'm sure you recognize the value and the benefit of regular physical exercise and how that helps boost your performance, keeps your endurance going, managing the stress. Now, what we want to do is make it a habit, and we want to make sure that we're incorporating it into our leadership strategies. And the other thing that regular exercise does, it improves our posture and our vitality. And when our posture is improved, when we've got that high level of energy, we walk into a room differently. You know what I'm saying? When we have that vitality, when we have that joy, when we have that energy, we have our shoulders back and we have more of a commanding presence. So, you know, that physical development, it's got to be part of your routine. Please include it. Let me know what you think about that. All right. The next habit, speaking of, it needs to be part of your routine. Routines. Having routines, I'm going to invite you to consider, to think about as part of your self-care practice. Well, what's she talk about? What do you mean? You know, Oftentimes unpredictability, chaos, changing, oftentimes is the only constant we can be assured of will happen. There's so many things that um, happen to us that we can't predict, and of course we've gone through with the pandemic the biggest unpredictable time. No one knew it was what it was, no one knew it was coming, no one was prepared, and so we've kind of experienced even more how unpredictability can be and change is a part of our life. And so, what a routine does, if nothing else, is establish a structure and a sense of predictability. And in the midst of chaos, give me something I can depend on. Something that I can feel like maybe I got some control. So that's why I wanted to include having a routine in this. And this is something that I do, and I know many successful women do. Um, it helps not only with structure and predictability, but also to managing our time effectively, so that we have a routine that we know we do. We know how much time it takes. We have the control over it. Oftentimes, having a routine can be very calming and grounding, whatever it is. And when we ensure that certain things, certain routines, like a self care routine, is incorporated into our daily life, then that can become non negotiable. So that's what I was talking about in terms of regular physical exercise. That, for me, is now a routine. So it's a non negotiable. So when you put in a self care activity, whatever it might be, it could be, getting a regular massage, meditation, taking a walk, first thing in the morning, doing deep breathing, whatever it is, particularly if it's self care oriented, and becomes a routine, that's a non-negotiable, because you're going to do it. You're going to do it. It's routine. So that's why I wanted to put this whole concept of having routines, a morning routine, an evening routine. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? What I'm talking about? Put a yes in the comments if you understand what I'm talking about, and why I'm including developing the habit of creating routines, okay, as a tool, as a self-care tool, and put that in your leadership box, because you a leader, you running things, and you being with people, and you got a lot of demands, etc. Put some structure in your life. Have some routines. One of the routines I have in the morning is making up my bed. How many of you have that as a routine? Making up your bed. Yes, indeed. I can't tell you. It's very calming. It's grounding. And why that is for me, my mom used to insist that I make my bed up every morning, no matter what. And even today, lots and lots of decades later, well, not that many decades later. Did I say lots and lots? I don't want to make it like that. So let's just say later these days. I still get a sense of calmness and grounding and memory of her through that routine. And so, you incorporating routines really does also create this disciplined approach to work and life. So, incorporate routines. And listen, I want to remind you, if you're resonating with this, I would love for you to come on over to elevate nextlevelsuccess.com and join my community. Okay, let's keep it moving. Creativity. I want to show you. I'm having some technical. Let me just get my technical. Okay. All right. Okay. Creativity inside out is the next self-care habit I want to talk to you about. Y'all know I'm trying to work it with this, being producer, talking with you, sharing all of this all at once. I'm just having such a good time here with StreamYard and streaming out, saying hello to you at LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, my Extraordinary Women Influencers Facebook group. Mwah, love you. And X, we're streaming to as well. Just so glad you're here. And if you've just joined us, we're talking about those essential self-care habits for you, for particularly women in leadership, running your businesses, leading nonprofits, managing teams. These are the habits you need to have as strategies for your leadership so that you can elevate that leadership, keep your endurance going, and still maintain your innovativeness and your competitive edge. And one of those self care habits that I really want you to pay more attention to and get into as a regular thing is that creativity that you got and that it's in you, and bring it out. So, what do I mean by that? What I mean is simple. Just engage and creative. Okay. Let me just take a sip of water here. Okay. See, when you live, you can't, y'all gotta hang with me on all this. Okay. Creative activities. What is the thing that turns you on creatively? What is that? Do it. Whether it's cooking, painting, artwork. I love photography. Whatever it is, do it. Always do that creativity, that stuff that's inside you. Let it out. By engaging in creative activities outside of work, whatever it is, you can develop a sense of calm. It helps with your innovation. It helps with problem solving. Does that make sense? That we've got creativity inside of us as leaders, and to bring that out every time we can makes a difference. And it can be an outlet for our emotions and really serve as a stress reliever. I love coloring books. Y'all do coloring books? Oh my goodness, go on Amazon, find yourself some coloring books. I love it. I love coloring. And it's fun. And I can, a lot of times, when things are stressful, shoot, I go pull up my coloring books and my crayons. I got a whole group of my crayons, go pull it, and I'll be drawing and coloring and stuff. And 5 minutes later, I ain't into nothing about my colors. Everything else has gone, it's outside of me because it's out. I've let that creativity inside of me come out and chase all that away. So by practicing this creativity inside out habit, it really emphasized the importance of really us looking inward to those things that we have inside and expressing ourselves outwardly. And this helps contribute again to our emotional well-being and reduce the risk of burnout and all those things. So engage in these creative activities so that you can self-explore and grow and step out of your comfort zone. Get yourself that coloring book. They be love them, love them. The next self-care habit that I want to talk about is practice, practice, practice. Now you could say to me, well, Dr. Geneva, what does that have to do with anything? How does practice get on a list when we're talking about self-care habits. That's because that's what you got to do. You got to practice. This stuff does not come easy. It just doesn't. You got to work at it. You have to be intentional about um, the habits, the things that you want to do, the things that you have these dreams about doing, the things that you think about and maybe procrastinate about, whatever it is, you have to take it small steps and practice and do it over and over and over again because it's not going to happen all at once. So, if you're wanting to develop a new skill, like this skill that I'm working with, coming live, bringing information to you, the wisdom, the lessons I've learned through my decades of leadership experience, bringing this to you. I have to learn this StreamYard and how to push the buttons and all of this, how to put up the banners and all of that. Well, that's something I had never done before. So, like the things that you take on, the new things, it don't happen just like that. If it's a skill, you have to practice at it. You practice and you refine it. And that's what happens. So, just like engaging in self care routines or habits, you got to practice. You got to keep doing it so that you become confident in doing it. So it comes, a regular thing. You need to be intentional, devote dedicated time and interest to practicing it just the same way that you would do with learning a new skill on your job. You'd be into that professional development, wouldn't you? You'd be going to the seminars and the leadership workshops and everything, and you'd be practicing them skills on that you need on the job or in running your business. I'm suggesting to you, I'm inviting you to have the same amount of energy, practice, and intention by practicing your self care, taking it on like a new skill and dedicating your time um, to doing it so that you have a sense of assuredness in what you're doing and that in fact you can take care of yourself. That's what I want you to do. I want you to get to the point where you say, Dr. Geneva, I'm taking care of myself. I can take care of myself. You understand what I'm talking about practice? So does that make sense? Let me know. If it does, put a yes in the comments. If it does, that practice must play a part in developing and staying true to these self-care habits that we're trying to acquire. And, we have to do it in the face of challenges and setbacks. And, well, I tried it, but it didn't work. That's okay. There's always tomorrow. Try it again. Practice it again. Because, see, what you're trying to do is just become a little bit better. Not trying to get the whole enchilada here. We're trying to just get a little bit better every day. Okay. So that practice. And then this one, this habit, this habit that I'm going to talk to you about next to incorporate. Yeah, my idea had been to talk about it and then boom, preview it. So, that didn't work out. So, anyway, make every day a special occasion. This is my favorite. And what I mean by this is that treat every day as an occasion, as a celebration, as a special day. What do you do on your birthday? That's a special day, right? You do things that make you feel good, that you love, that celebrates you, that you enjoy, right? On your birthday. It's why? Because it's a special day. It's the day you were born. It's a special occasion. What I suggest to you as a leader, as a woman who runs them businesses, who's an entrepreneur, who manages them teams, who leads nonprofit organization, that every day should be a special occasion. Yes, and you can do it. What do we mean by this? What do I mean by this, Dr. Geneva? Well, what I'm talking about is do things that you love and enjoy every day. So you can, a reference point would be, what do you do on your birthday? So let's say you love movies. So you're going to go to a movie on your birthday. Find ways to go to the movies during the week. Just get up and go. Make every day special. I I did this with my mother's china. So I have the collection of my mother's china that she gathered and collected pieces over the years, a huge set. And it's sat in my cupboard for years. And I'd only pull it out when? On special occasions. About a year or so ago, when I got into this, treat every day as a special occasion, hmm, I pulled that china out. I use it every single day. Why not? Why not? It's lots of pieces. So, because, by now it's like a 20-piece set, 25, 30-piece set, lots of pieces. So, even if I broke one or something, it's still a whole lot more. Okay. So, I eat on all of them every day because every day I'm treating as a special occasion. Find something that you love to do and do it on a regular basis because you can um, be fully present with what you're doing and enjoy it. It's something different when I eat now off of this china that my mom had who passed to me. It's just really special. And I can bring myself in the present and have this whole mindset about it. And I appreciate the richness of the moment. And it's something to enjoy. Now, does that make sense to you? Try it every day, a special occasion. And it helps combat the autopilot mode. I wanted to say that, I have in my notes, talk about autopilot. So often that's what we're on. We do things, we're not even thinking, it's on autopilot. We don't appreciate the joy and the richness that's in life and the creativity that we have and we experience. And because we're so busy as leaders, it's so important to do things that combat that autopilot. And one of the things to do in this list of self care habits is to elevate our everyday experiences by finding or creating moments of joy in routine activities. So, what's yours? What could be yours? What are those things? You know, that special cup of coffee, you get coffee, but perhaps you put some special stuff in it, or you have a routine, or you take that cup of coffee and you go sit out on the porch, do something different to take that thing that you do every day all the time, just make it a little more special. Just take the mundane out of it. Treat every day as a special occasion. Well, as we wrap up this segment on self care habits and these 9 essential things that I want you to really make sure are in your leadership toolkit because they really are going to empower you. And that's where we want to be as leaders. And every habit that I've laid out for you, I want it to be a stepping stone for you for not just surviving, but really thriving in your leadership role that you have. And so by integrating these practices, like giving yourself permission to rest, scheduling everything, practicing, and making every day a special occasion. Um, you're not just caring for yourself, but you're building your endurance and your resistance and your resilience and your resistance to burnout and your resilience as well. And so start small, be consistent. Remember that the power is in you. And that's the most powerful tool at your disposal, your well-being. And and remember that. Now, we've had so many comments, and also I want to say hello to you. Let me see if there are questions, and want to say good morning and how are you to everyone who's come in and who's talked about the experience that you're having and who said yes to the things. Oh, yes. How are you? Oh my goodness. Go to the gym daily. Hey there, Carmen. How's everyone? Baking desserts. Is that a fun thing to do? Yes, yes, yes. Enjoying everything. I'm so glad you're here. And let me know again if any of this conversation resonates with you. Come on over to elevatenextlevelsuccess.com and join my community. Love you. We'll see you the next time. Next Wednesday, same time, streaming to you live. Happy Valentine's Day for all of you who've joined me live and on the replay. How you doing? Hope your day was fantastic. Be better.